blank. Less than a week before opening tip. Still not sure when we're going to see Zion Williamson this season. Haven't talked about him in a while. The Pelicans star had off-season foot surgery, which has sidelined him for camp and the preseason. Initially, the hope was he'd be back for the opener, but according to The Athletic, that's now up in the air. It's uncertain. So, Broussard, your level of concern for Zion is blank.
It's high, Jenna. It is high. This is not the first time that the Pelicans have underestimated one of Zion's injuries and given us an inaccurate timetable. You mentioned on Media Day this year, just a couple weeks ago, David Griffin, the GM, talked about Zion's injury, said he had surgery, which nobody knew about, and then said he'd be ready for the opener. Well, here we are a few days away from the opener on October 20th, and Zion is not yet running. Zion is not working in 5-on-5 drills or scrimmaging with his team. He's doing none of that. So it is a stretch to think he's going to be ready for the opener. You remember before his rookie season, David Griffin said Zion would be back in 6 to 8 weeks. This is in the preseason training camp. Well, it was 3 months before Zion made his debut, and then he played like 24 games. What scares me is not even just Zion missing a few weeks, the first few weeks of the season, if it comes to that. It's that, unfortunately, at least to this point, he may just be injury prone. And when you're 6'7", 285 pounds, playing with more torque and explosion than anyone in the league, that is something that you have to wonder about and worry about. And at Duke, he hurt his knee. He played the 24 games, as I mentioned, as a rookie. He played 61 games his second year. He got injured in Summer League. And here he is again in an injury he suffered in the offseason. So these are the reasons why my concern level, Nick, is very high on Zion.
Yeah, my level of concern is simmering. It's not quite as high as Broussard's, but it's higher than mine has been in the past. I never bought into the whole, oh, Zion's going to go to New Orleans and get fat, all those beignets and the great food, and what about his weight? The guy is a 100 out of 100 athlete. And guys always get in better shape as their NBA careers go on, or nearly always. So that I wasn't worried about. But the injury stuff is concerning, which is why this is so disappointing. I don't know if people remember or paid attention. What Zion did last year was wholly unprecedented. Not for a second-year player or a guy under 20. For any player ever, it was the most points per game anyone has ever averaged most points per game anyone's ever averaged on at least 60% shooting. He was 27 per game on 61% from the field. No one has done it, ever. Not Shaq, not McHale's great year, nobody. And he was doing it on a bad team where everyone knew what they were trying to do and they could not stop it. Wilds. I'm working on, to debut next week, a little next week tease, the player pyramid. And we know the top 12 guys in the league, everyone agrees on who they are. We might argue about the order. But then once you get like 13 to 20, there's a lot of discussion. Zion is really like pounding on the door of a top 15 player. The only thing that's going to stop it is the injury. And so it is concerning, upsetting, because I want him to be healthy. So he's played 85 career games, including his rookie year, 85 career games. He's 26 a night on 60%. We've never seen something like it. I hope we get to see more of it.
Okay, I don't think the only thing that can stop him is injury. I'll add coaching, leadership, and overall direction of the franchise in New Orleans. So here's the thing. No one has ever turned down the rookie extension in the history of the NBA. Someone eventually will, and I bet it's Zion. Oh, Wilds, it's so much money. Oh, you don't think if he went to a big market like New York City, they could find a way to make up that money rather than being a top 15 guy? All of a sudden he becomes a top 5 guy, marquee games all the time in the biggest, best city in America? I think he could. Let's take a quick review. And if you disagree, tell me what's gone right in New Orleans. Just name one thing that has gone right. Let's look at the recent offseason. This was the press conference that he got. Hey, welcome everybody. Pelicans off season. Steven Adams is gone. Lonzo's gone. Eric Bledsoe's gone. We fired Stan Van Gundy. And Zion had a surgery they didn't really tell us about. What? Yep, see you later. Okay. Next thing that comes out. Hey, here's a big article on David Griffin that was supposed to be the big savior coming from Cleveland. Well, he's not connecting with any of the players. He can't make the right decisions coaching-wise. And he played the piano for Zion to try to relate to him. Zion now has turned that down. He's like, I didn't have a guy play the piano for me. Thirdly, Zion can't run, as Broussard said. He's on his third coach in 3 years with a middling team, watching Anthony Davis go to a historic franchise and thrive. So I would not be surprised, Jenna, if I'm not saying early in the season, but I bet late in the season you go to that same store that Anthony Davis got his "That's All Folks" shirt and be like, I don't know, just like AD, I don't know what it is, just a shirt. I picked it out for the game. And I bet I could see him turning down his rookie extension. First time ever.
Wilds, do you know what you just did? Do you know the type of fire you have just lit in New York City? Oh yeah, there were rumblings about it. There were flames coming this way and that way. You just lit the fire. Oh, first they were getting LeBron.
But you put it out.
How'd that work out? Then they were getting Kevin Durant. How'd that work out? Then they were getting Chris Paul. How'd that work out? Now they're getting Zion.
Julius Randle. Hold on, Broussard. He did light the fire, but then Wilds, because he's responsible, he put it out. Because at the end, he said Anthony Davis went to a historic franchise. There ain't one of those in New York. Ain't won a title since '73, buddy.
You know what?
We're going on 50 years.
Why don't you move?
We're going on 50 years.
I like it in that
Call your landlord.
I like it. Why don't you move here? Well, Wild's up there in Schenectady talking about how much he loves New York City.
The dog needs
Why
more
don't
room
you
to
move
run.
here,
He gets
buddy?
more and more north. He goes further north.
They are his.
Believe that, I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated. Don't believe any of that shit, man. Like really be aware of what's being said. Pay attention to what's going on out in the real world. People are losing their jobs to these mandates. People are having to make choices with their own lives, which I respect. And I don't want to sit here and play on people's emotions either. Just use logic. What would you do? If you felt uncomfortable going into the season when you were promised that you would have exemptions or that you didn't have to be forced to get the vaccine. For some odd reason, people love to have my name in the mix of just some BS. Like, just hearing the way people speak with so much conviction about what I should be doing with my life and what, my teammates should be feeling about me, what the organization be feeling about me. You think I really want to lose money? You think I really want to give up on my dream to go after a championship? You think I really just want to give up my job? You think I really just want to sit at home and not go after the things with my teammates that I've been able to grow with, to learn that it takes sacrifice in this space? Because we could be easily at home chilling with our families, but we're choosing to go out there and perform. And even in that job, like that's a dream come true. I've been working on that since I was in 4th grade. You think I want to give up my livelihood because of a mandate, because I don't have accommodations, because I'm unvaccinated? Come on.
Well, you could just get vaccinated and have all those things like tomorrow. But Chris Broussard, what is your reaction to all this from Kyrie?
I'm glad to hear Kyrie finally say something. It's been weeks since we heard from him. We're not hearing from anonymous sources claiming to speak for him, so that's good. It was hard to make sense of a lot of what Kyrie was saying. I'm going to be honest. I watched the whole 20-minute thing. I thought he spent a lot of time saying a lot of nothing. He said a lot of words, but he said a lot of nothing. There were two things I felt like he gave clarity on as he jumped from savior to victim to chastiser of the media to martyr. He played all these different roles in the 20-minute Instagram Live. But the two things that he gave clarity on, I believe, one is that he said he's not getting vaccinated because he doesn't feel comfortable taking the vaccine. And he said, everybody should have the right to do what they want to do with their bodies, okay? He didn't tell us why he doesn't feel comfortable, whether it's religious, whether it's moral, whatever it is. Scientific, nothing. Just he doesn't feel comfortable. And secondly, and very importantly, that he's not retiring, which is good to hear. It's good to hear because we all love watching Kyrie Irving play basketball. Good to hear because he loves the game of basketball, as he said. And good to hear because the Nets can now go about the business of trying to trade him. Not because Kyrie's not a great player, not because he's a perfect fit with Kevin Durant and James Harden. Those three fit together very nicely. But if Kyrie is going to make this decision for himself, doing, as he said, what's best for me, then the Nets have to do what's best for them, which is trading Kyrie. It's just too many distractions, too much high maintenance, and all of this stuff going on. And then Kyrie said, don't play on your, think with your emotions or don't be emotional, just use logic. I'm going to use logic, Kyrie. Don't tell us you're not anti-vaccination. I get it. You're not against those who've taken the vaccine. But you clearly are anti-vaccination. Because if you were not anti-vaccination, for yourself at least, and for many others, then you wouldn't give up the game you've loved since the 4th grade. You wouldn't walk away from your teammates and try to win a championship. You wouldn't walk away from the organization